struggling to push through the pain. Saturday morning, the day before the race. I've not done a race day video before, but gonna give it a go. Just got back from Kenya on Thursday morning, so interested to see how the race will go. I've just had breakfast, which was 300 grams of rice pudding, which I just made with oat milk and some sugar, and then had coffee. I'm gonna go to the run group. I have a small run group here in Amsterdam and run with them. And then for the rest of the day I won't be doing too much. 6:15, night before the race. Spent this afternoon taking a nap and then also spending way too much time editing a YouTube video, but I guess it kept me occupied. And then other than that, I've just been writing a list of things I need to do in the morning, so a timeline so I know what to do exactly when, because on a morning I'm not the greatest and probably I'll end up forgetting things. And then I've also made a list of all of the things I'll need to take with me. As well as that, I've had a quick walk through some of the course. I like to do that the night before just to be able to visualize the first half of the course at least. I normally can't remember it all, especially if it's a marathon, but yeah, it just helps a little bit kind of knowing that you've seen it before, even if it's just through a computer screen. And then I'll also do a little bit of visualization before I go to sleep. I need to cook something to eat, which will just be rice, because I've already made that in the rice cooker earlier, and will just most likely be with mushrooms and vegetables, nothing exciting. Here's my layout then. Arm sleeves because I think it's going to be cold. Also a headband for the same reason, especially if you just come back from Kenya. I'm going to go with some bright socks to go with the orange Fast R3. I'm not really sure I'm a fan of this colour, but the shoes are very fast, so I think there's no other option than to wear those. Got some gloves just in case. And then here's some things that I will be using tomorrow. And lastly, how do I think I'm going to do tomorrow? Well, I've never really felt so good as I do with running at the moment after a pretty tough year. Last year mentally, I couldn't really perform with running. So now, at least for the last 2 months, it's been going really well. And I have high expectations or hopes for the race, and I don't mind saying that. I guess my A goal is to finally run under 70 minutes, so then that's 3:19 per kilometre. I've also made a B goal and a C goal just to keep me interested in the race in case the A goal falls away, and then B goal just being 3:21 and then C goal being 3:23. C goal will then still be just inside a PB, and obviously B goal will be somewhere in the middle. And yeah, that's how I plan to approach it. I think all of the training's been going well, or it indicates that I can run under 70, or I believe I can run under 70. So that's what I'll be going for. ~7 race day. I was awake around 6:45. Don't really feel like I slept that well, but I think that's also quite normal. You're anticipating the race, so I don't really see that as an issue. The previous few nights I was really tired, and I think I probably caught up on sleep then, so no problems. I'm just getting some small breakfast ready now because the race starts at 11:30. And then I'll eat when I'm travelling on the train around 9 o'clock. just arrived in The Hague. I'm here early actually because I don't have a locker yet and I need a locker, otherwise I don't know where I'm going to put my stuff. I didn't reserve one. I assumed there was just a bag drop, which isn't very organised, but I need to get here and get a locker and then still pick up the race number. So let's get that sorted.
De warming-up van de grote jeugdloop van 2,5 kilometer.
Stout warming. Not feeling that nervous, which I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Walking to the start. I'm gonna get in there early for once.
Hier voor het eerst mee.
15 minutes to go. And I started, and I was just trying to really be controlled with the first 10 kilometers. As mentioned, I felt, or I still do, feel in very good shape, and I was just trying not to blow it in the first 10 kilometers. And in the first 10 kilometers, I averaged 3:23 officially according to the race, but in my own defense, I actually thought I was running 3:21 average according to my watch. Now I know I would normally lap split when I go past each kilometre mark, but for some reason I was trying just to switch off and I didn't really think it was that much of a difference. So at 10 kilometres, heart rate was low and I felt pretty good, and I felt like now I was in a good position to push on. But I think from around 10, my feet started to hurt, not a lot from 10 to 15, and from that 10 to 15 I was still on around 3:23, and heart rate again was still low, and I expected then in the last 6 I would be able to push on. But then, yeah, at 15 my feet were so painful, and from the last 6 kilometers I averaged 3:31. So I mean, just with that alone I lost probably around a minute. Now it's easy to look back and say like it was just my feet and they were sore, and why couldn't you have pushed through that? I really couldn't. I was in a lot of pain. Not great. I think just outside my PB. I don't know what happened the last 5 kilometers. Legs, feet are so painful. I'm struggling to push through the pain. It's still killing me now. My feet have never felt like that before. So then I couldn't really push hard enough through the last 5 kilometers. So I don't know if it was, I don't think it was my legs, I think it was just pain in my feet. A bit disappointing, but yeah, maybe. Also, don't know, felt fine the first 10-11 kilometers, and then yeah, my feet just started to hurt and it just started to get a lot harder. Yeah, I just couldn't push through that pain. So on to the next one. So first things first, it didn't really go as expected or how I would have liked. I didn't hit any of my goals, A, B or C. A being to run 3:19 per kilometre and C being to run 3:23. But overall I'm not too disappointed because I equaled my PB from Amsterdam, and I'll also put the splits up from Amsterdam, but my heart rate was like 2 beats average lower, and at Amsterdam I got up to like 166 heart rate, and I was hovering around 165. Normally when I've run a good half marathon, then I average around 165, and that was the case in Amsterdam. So I think in Amsterdam I was at my max and I ran the same time. But it's a good sign that my heart rate was a lot lower than, or at least a few beats lower than Amsterdam. It shows that there's definitely some scope to go a lot faster. I warmed up in my Cloud Surfers, and I didn't feel anything with my feet, but then because I had 2 lockers and I had to put all my stuff in the locker to go warm up, I decided to just then change my shoes at that last moment when I went back to the locker into the Puma Fast R3s. And when I put them on, I could feel something with my feet, but I didn't really think anything of it because I've never had major issues with my feet. So here's one I made earlier. No, actually I just bought this from the shop earlier. It's an exfoliating foot mask and I'm going to use it tonight. I've used them before. They just get rid of a lot of the dead skin, and I think basically my conclusion is that my feet were put under a life sentence in jail in Kenya, and they just got battered, and I didn't really look after them whilst I was there. And then when I've come back, I've paid the price during the race because I can still feel that my feet are quite sensitive underneath. I also ordered a foot massage spa thing, and when that comes I'll use that, so really start to try to look after my feet a bit more. So yeah, in conclusion, I haven't looked back at what I've said yet straight after the race. You know, like my emotions will have been a bit higher then, so it will be interesting to then look back and see what I've said when making this video. But I'm still very confident of running well in London. This hasn't really given me any reason to think otherwise. I would be tempted to do another half of the race and marathon, but I think that's probably just been stupid. So as long as I don't do anything stupid and book a half marathon race, then I won't be doing a half marathon. I'll have to try and do one after London, maybe a month after London, 6 weeks after London, once I've recovered from that. I will be getting back into doing a weekly video on my training, and this week, there's now 6 weeks to go, so then I will be taking you along with me on a long run Sunday. I've got 36 kilometers planned, and then I'll just be going over how I feel like training's gone this week. But yeah, you'll see me again soon, and if you are watching these videos and you do like them, then it would really be helpful if you would subscribe. I think I haven't asked this so far, but I feel like the content is getting better, and hopefully there's some people out there enjoying it. So see you on the next one.